So today's podcast is about metric conversions. And metric conversions are awesome because they are really straightforward. All you're doing is moving the decimal back and forth from the left to the right. And the reason we can do that is because the metric system is based upon powers of 10. So when you are doing metric conversions, you only have two questions to ask yourself. One question is, how far do I need to move the decimal? The second question is, in which direction do I need to move the decimal? Okay, so these prefixes should be familiar from your prior schooling. So mega, that means like a million times something, that's 10 to the 6th. Kilo is like 1,000 times of something, that's 10 to the 3rd. And then there's base unit. You're like, but Miss Campbell, I've never heard of this base unit. Are you sure you're not making it up? I'm definitely not making it up. So the base unit that's what goes after the prefix. So you would have like a megagram or a megameter or a megaliter, right? So that base unit can be grams, meters, liters, whatever is going to come after that prefix. Okay, so first we need to decide how far we need to move our decimal because those were the two questions. Do you remember the two questions? What were the two questions again? How far do we need to move the decimal and in which direction? Okay, so how far? So we do that by taking the difference between the exponents. Okay, so we take the difference between the exponents of these factors, and that'll tell us how far we need to move the decimal. We're going to take the absolute value of that difference because it just doesn't make sense to have, -1 spaces in between. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so if we were going to go from kilo to mega, um, we would do 3 minus 6, and that's -3, but we're doing the absolute value of that, so that means 3 spaces. And if we were going to go from, let's say, centi to deci, that would be -2 minus 1. And remember, you do a minus minus, that makes a plus. So -2 plus 1 is -1. And we're doing the absolute value of that is 1, so you'd move 1 space. So you're kind of getting that? So you subtract the exponents. The second question that we needed to ask ourselves is, which direction do we need to move the decimal? So let's go back to our first example of going from kilo to mega. If we're going from kilo to mega, we are going up the chart. When we move up the chart, see, kilo up to mega, when we go up the chart, we move the decimal left. Okay? And we would move it 3 minus 6 spaces, so 3 spaces, so 3 spaces to the left. If we were going to go from deci down to centi, we would move our decimal to the right because we're moving down the chart from deci down to centi. And we do -1 minus minus 2. So -1 plus 2, which is +1. Okay, so we'd move 1 space, our decimal 1 space to the right. So let's do a few practice problems. Alright, so the first one is 20 centimeters, and we're going to meters. You say, but Miss Campbell, meters is not on the chart. How do you expect me to do it? Okay, but remember I said that meters, liters, grams, those would all be considered base units. So that's at that 10 to the 0 space. Centimeters is 10 to the -2. Okay, so you would do -2 minus 0 is still -2, and we're going to do the absolute value of that, so that'd be 2. So that means you're going to move the decimal 2 spaces, and we're going up the chart from centimeters to meters. When we go up the chart, remember we move the decimal to the left. So the decimal starts here, and we go 2 to the left, boom, boom. Okay? So your answer would be 0.2 meters. So 20 centimeters is the exact same thing as 0.2 meters. The same. Okay? 0.032 liters. We want to convert that to milliliters. We want to see how many milliliters that's equal to. So liters, but no liters on the chart, Miss Kimball. There's no liters, of course, because it's a base unit. We're going from liters down to milliliters. So remember, the exponent on the base unit is 0. So 0 minus 3, and that would be +3. So we're going to move 3 spaces, and since we are moving down the chart, we're moving 3 spaces to the right. So 1, 2, 3, and you get 32 milliliters. Now the next one, 45 micrometers. That little funny looking U with the teardrop on it, that represents micro. And we're going from micro down to nano. Micro is 10 to the negative 6th. Nano is 10 to the negative 9th. So we do negative 6 minus minus 9, which comes out to 3, which means we need to go 3. But which direction? Which direction? So we're going micro down to nano. When we go down the chart, remember we move the decimal to the right. So you need to go 3 to the right, and you get 45,000. All right, so the last one is decimeters. Deci is 10 to the minus 1. And going from 10 to the minus 1 up to 10 to the positive 3, okay, because kilo is 10 to the third. So minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4, right? Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Now, the absolute value of negative 4 is 4, so we know we're moving 4 spaces. And since we went up the chart, we're moving our decimal to the left. So it starts out here, and we go 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, or shall I say 1, 2, 3, 4, or shall I say 1, 2, okay, I'll stop. So 4 spaces to the left, 0.0805 kilometers. That concludes our lesson on metric conversions. Make sure you ask some good questions because we'll be ready tomorrow. Have a good one.